Hi, Smoke and Sassy. Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's almost Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh, it is one of my favorite holidays.
It's
The
mine
family, the food.
Yep, I love Thanksgiving.
However, for a lot of us, Thanksgiving might be a little smaller, right? 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
How many people did you guys have last year?
2.
Right? Which is really unusual, right? But, you know, things change and there's lots of reasons why we might want a smaller Thanksgiving dinner. So today what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to do a small Thanksgiving dinner for 1 or 2, you know, or someone that just doesn't want a lot of leftover turkey.
Right.
Oh, so today we're going to do baked Cornish hens. And we're going to do, instead of cranberry relish, we're going to do a grape relish. So I came across this grape relish.
Really grape, huh?
Yeah, grape with ginger and onions and orange.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I've tried it a few times now and I really like it. And we're gonna, you know, because it's pretty, I'm gonna just add a few frosted grapes, and you can jump over to the Instagram and see how to do the frosted grapes, but it's really easy. The other thing is that with your dessert, if you're looking for a dessert with your meal, we have a couple of options. What do we have for them?
Well, we have the pumpkin souffle, cheesecake souffle, the banana cream pie. And these are all videos that you can go, you know, to our channel and find. And we have the beast, which is the brownie and the marshmallow. So there's plenty of options for you if you want something different.
Yeah. We're melting some butter that we're going to use for the cheesecloth and to drape over the hens. So once we have the butter melted, I'm going to add the rest of the onion. So we had, which is about 1/4 of an onion, 1/4 of a lemon, some herbs, whatever herbs you have left over from inside the hens, and some garlic. I just left my garlic clove whole because we're not going to eat it. We're just using it as flavoring. So as this starts to just simmer, and we're looking again, not for a look so much as a smell. Butter's all melted. Ingredients are starting to smell amazing. I'm going to add chicken broth. Now, when I do a holiday dinner in general, I usually have chicken broth on the stove. If I'm actually cooking a turkey, I'll have the neck and the gizzards in there, and just have it on really low all day, because it really does help if you're going to make gravy or stuffing or anything like that. But I used a whole can of chicken broth and a cube of butter. We're gonna let this simmer for about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna take it off of the stove and let it cool. And after it cools down a little bit, we'll go ahead and add our cheesecloth, and then I'll show you how to drape it over the hens.
Look at all these herbs.
Doesn't this look amazing?
It does look amazing.
So one of the things I started with last night, though, was I dry brined my hens.
Okay.
So what that means is I add salt to the outside pretty generously, and in the inside, ideally it'd be a rock salt.
Okay.
And then I wrap them in a plastic wrap and put them in the refrigerator overnight. The advantage of dry brining, whether you're doing a turkey or you're doing hens or even a chicken, is that it's gonna make it really tender and juicy, because it just kind of draws out that water and then it kind of sinks back in.
Right.
Right. And actually, guys, if you're doing even a cheap steak, dry brining is really a great idea. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you need to wet brine, but who in the heck wants to deal with a gigantic pot of liquid, finding room in the refrigerator for it? It's just, dry brining is 100 times better in my opinion.
We do.
Yeah, dry brining is much better, guys. Don't listen to him.
So is this other stuff on there too, which I saw?
Well, I just added a little bit of other stuff because I'm going to be honest, I was at my daughter's house and I couldn't find the rest of her salt, and I used all of her salt. So I used a garlic salt too on top. You don't have to do that though. I just needed a little bit more salt. We're not really flavoring the chicken when we're dry brining it. All we're doing is the dry brine. But now we're going to flavor it.
Now, do you rinse off the salt afterwards?
Nope. because it sucks it down into the meat.
Okay.
So even if you were to try and rinse it off, all you'd now do is this garlic stuff that stayed on top.
Okay.
Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to add your herbs into the cavity of the hen, just like you would if it was a turkey. I don't care what herbs you like. I mean, this is sage.
Sage is kicking your ass.
Sage is kicking my ass. Yep.
Oh, well, that's rosemary. It's kicking your ass.
Oh yeah, sorry, rosemary. That's right. Now I can smell it. It is. It's rosemary. Rosemary was kicking me. Here, you know, just I bought for today. They had a mixture of herbs for chicken on sale at the local store, so I picked it up.
We buy that poultry mix all the time.
Yeah, it's great.
It is great.
And I'm just going to put that there on the inside. And then I'm going to put a clove of garlic in with all the herbs. You don't have to do, I mean, I would recommend this even if you're not Italian. Just because it just adds such a nice flavor. And then I'm going to do a lemon. I sliced my lemons in fourths, and I used one of the fourths in my butter liquid. And then I'm going to put a little bit of onion in there too. And I just cut my onion in fourths. And all this is going to do is just give us a nice flavor. If you decide that you want to do a gravy, which you absolutely can do at the end of this, it's also going to help with that juices, and it's going to help flavor the gravy as well. Now I'm going to actually loosen my skin a little bit. When you do this, I want you to be kind of gentle. We don't want to poke a hole in the skin, but we absolutely, you know, just breaking it apart a little bit from the meat. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to add a little butter directly onto the meat. Once I have the skin removed from the flesh, I'm going to take a little bit of butter that I have at room temperature. Now, obviously, because I'm touching this with my gloves, what I don't use, I'm going to toss, or, well, I'm actually going to toss it. I think I'm going to use most of it. So that was about 4 tablespoons of butter, in case you're wondering how much to have out for this. But we're going to just get it in there, and we're going to try and massage it in. This is, you know, the hen's last moments of being not cooked, so we're going to give it a nice massage. We're going to get that butter in there. How come butter makes everything better?
It sure does.
Yeah. And even if, you know, you are rubbing it in, but at the same time, the nice thing about this is it's going to melt all over your meat, because we're not going to have to baste this. We're going to put it in our oven or our smoker or whatever you want to put it in. I've even done this in the air fryer, of course. And the advantage is you don't have to take it out. You don't have to do anything other than let it cook. And I went ahead and put my cheesecloth in the butter mixture that we made earlier.
Okay.
And I'd have you help me with this, but I don't know if you want to get your hands dirty.
No, you guys.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, and we're just going to drape a double layer of cheesecloth that's been soaked in our butter mixture right over the Cornish hens. All right, and we're just going to put it nice. Isn't that pretty? Tuck them in. And then I'm going to take the remaining sauce, minus this piece of cheesecloth. And I'm going to let the herbs fall to the bottom of the pan that's extra. And then I'm just going to pour butter over the top. And this is the butter and the broth and everything. One thing I didn't do here, but I have sometimes, right? We always have little variations. Sometimes you can add white wine to the butter sauce as well. It's just, you know, whatever you guys like. No sense in wasting any of that delicious flavor. So I'm going to tuck that on the bottom again. Okay, we're going to bake this in the oven. If you want to use your oven, bake it at 425 degrees for 10 minutes. Then you're gonna turn the oven down to 350 and you're gonna bake it for about another 30 minutes. But about 10 minutes through the cooking time, take off the cheesecloth so you can have this really beautiful brown crust. As I like to say, time is a little bit relative. So it's more important that you're watching it for the internal temperature to make sure that it's cooked correctly and that you're not overcooking it either. All right, so let's get this going. I think today though, we're gonna go ahead and throw it on the smoker.
Yeah, because we got the oven's already full of other food, so.
All right, let's do that. All right, for our grape relish, you can decide what kind of grapes you want to use. I'm using green, red makes a great relish. Sometimes I like to mix them, green and red, because that's really pretty, but it's up to you. You're gonna go ahead and saute these in a little bit of olive oil with some salt and pepper over medium heat for about 10 minutes. And we are trying to let the grapes get a little blistered, a little cooked. I'm gonna tell you, I made some candied grapes, some dried grapes, and I used that in here as well. So I used fresh grapes and then added some of the candied grapes. That was a great option as well. But this is as versatile as you want it to be. The other really great ingredient though is if you want to do some sliced apples or even add a little bit of cranberries, you can do that as well. I like it just like it's going to be now. And then after 10 minutes, what we're going to add is about, I don't know, a teaspoon of ginger. So I'm going to add about 1/4 of a red onion. And because I don't have that many grapes in here, I'm just using 1/2 of a jalapeno. If you don't like the heat, don't add the jalapeno. Jalapeno is cut up pretty small, and of course I've taken out the veins and the seeds to make sure that the heat isn't too extreme, so that mix that together. So I'm gonna just zest directly into here some orange. Ooh, can you smell that, AJ?
That smells amazing.
And you know, you can do as much or as little orange zest as you want. It's up to you. It's the holidays, so I put quite a bit. Plus, I love orange. And again, even if you add the apple, I would go with the orange zest. Apples and oranges go really well together. So it's not an either or proposition. Lastly, I'm gonna add now from that zested orange, I'm gonna add about 1/2 of an orange juice. And we're gonna just kind of let that simmer. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. We're gonna let that simmer for about 10 minutes. And then we will put it in the fridge and we will serve it with our hens, or you can serve it with your turkey. So one of the things that I've done is I do sometimes put it in a blender or a food processor and I pulse it down a little bit. So it's a little bit more like cranberry relish. But it's totally up to you, and you're gonna see that the grapes become pretty soft. So if you don't mind it chunky, and I like chunky, you can just kind of smash it up a little bit yourself. Okay, well, we're gonna put it all together and enjoy it. All right, Ben, look at our delicious Thanksgiving dinner for 2.
This looks great. I can't wait. So what do we have here?
All right, so we have our grape relish with a beautiful, beautiful Cornish hen, and we actually made a couple of them so that we can share. I love these candied lace grapes.
Yeah, they're great.
And the pretty sweet potatoes with, of course, our dessert.
This looks amazing. Let's taste it.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and taste.
Come on in.
Woo! Hello! Hey, you know what? Our family just got here, so instead of us tasting, what do you say we go eat with them?
Yeah, let's go have dinner.
All right.
All right. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next Thursday.
All right.